larger theme of Black female resistance that was happening at the time.
Yeah. And Shug totally disrupts the power dynamics in that house. She teaches Celie about self-love and pleasure, encourages her to find her voice.
Right. And it's not just Shug. There's Sophia, Harpo's wife. She embodies that resistance, too.
She's strong and independent.
Absolutely refuses to be dominated by men.
Welcome to Witter. Who Has Time to Read? The podcast that brings deep dives for busy minds. Listen to AI hosts Jane and Dane and get ready to unpack the world's most captivating books in just a fraction of the time. Whether commuting, working out, or just squeezing in a quick break, we deliver key insights, thought-provoking themes, and takeaways you can carry into your day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Plus, use our links in the description to purchase this book. Your support helps us bring more engaging book discussions to you. Listen and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Who has time to read? You do, with Witter.
Welcome back to Witter, everyone. Our deep dives for busy minds continue. This month, we're diving into Black Voices for Black History Month. And today, we're going deep into Alice Walker's The Color Purple.
It's a powerful book, definitely one that stays with you.
Absolutely. So for our listeners, The Color Purple is told through letters from the main character, Celie.
Right.
A Black woman in early 20th century rural Georgia. You know, in this format, it's called an epistolary novel, by the way, really gives us like this intimate window into Celie's world, like we're reading her diary.
Yeah, you really feel like you're right there with her, experiencing everything she goes through.
And her journey is, well, it's rough. I mean, we meet her at 14. She's facing abuse from her stepfather. And she's forced to marry this man. He's only referred to as Mr. Brine.
And that's significant, you know, that he doesn't have a name. It's like Walker is stripping him of his individuality, making him like a symbol of the patriarchy. That was holding women back, especially Black women.
Yeah, it really emphasizes like the power imbalance and the oppression Celie's facing. But there are these little glimmers of hope. You know, like her bond with her sister Nettie, they write letters.
Yeah, the letters are so important.
Even though Mr. Egg tries to keep them apart.
They're not just about like support either. They show these contrasting worlds. Celie stuck in rural Georgia, right? But Nettie's letters, she becomes a missionary in Africa. It really opens up this whole wider perspective.
Yeah, it shows colonialism and the effects of racism.
Yeah.
On a global scale.
Exactly. And how interconnected these struggles were.
Then there's Shug Avery. Mr. J's former lover.
Oh, Shug. She really shakes things up.
Right. She's like a catalyst for Celie's like self-discovery. She's so defiant, self-assured, really challenges Celie's understanding of, you know, what it even means to be a woman.
Definitely. And that connects to this larger theme of Black female resistance that was happening at the time.
Yeah. And Shug totally disrupts the power dynamics in that house. She teaches Celie about self-love and pleasure, encourages her to find her voice.
Right. And it's not just Shug. There's Sophia, Harpo's wife. She embodies that resistance, too.
She's strong and independent.
Absolutely refuses to be dominated by men or by society's expectations.
So we're starting to see how Celie's experiences connect to these larger themes in the Black experience during this era. But how does Walker like use the format, the letters, to strengthen those themes?
Ooh, that's a great question. The epistolary format, it does so much more than just tell this story. It adds like layers of meaning and impact. Let's dig into that in the next part of our deep dive. With the letters, we get like right inside Celie's head. We see her change from this, you know, timid girl to this woman who demands what she deserves.
It's amazing. You really feel her pain, but also her strength.
Exactly. And with Nettie's letters from Africa, it like expands everything beyond Celie's little world. Right.
We see colonialism and the effects of racism on a global scale even.
Exactly. It reminds us the Black experience, it's not just one thing. You know,
it's multifaceted. So many different perspectives.
Exactly. And those different perspectives, you see it with the other women in Celie's life too. We talked about Shug and Sophia.
Yeah.
But even like Mary Agnes, Harpo's second wife. They all add to this picture of Black womanhood that Walker's painting.
It's true. Each woman like has her own way of dealing with the challenges of being Black and female in a world that wants to control them.
Right. And it's through those interactions, you know, with each other that they find their strength, their support. They build this community.
That sisterhood. It's a core part of the book's message of resilience and hope.
Totally. And something else that changes is Celie's relationship with God. She starts out so angry.
Yeah, she's like, why is this happening? Why would God allow this suffering?
But then, through Shug, she starts to see spirituality differently.
More personal.
Right. She finds God in nature, in herself.
It reflects like this common experience for Black people in America, trying to find their faith in a world full of injustice.
The traditional church, it doesn't always work for them. So they create their own spirituality, like Celie does. Yeah. And as she finds that grounding, she starts to challenge the patriarchy too. Like, look at her relationship with Mr. Phillip. It completely transforms.
It does. He even starts going by his real name, Albert. Tries to make up for what he's done.
It's complex, right? Redemption.
Definitely. Walker doesn't ignore the harm he's caused.
But she suggests that maybe change is possible, even for people who have been part of the problem.
It's challenging, but relevant.
Yeah.
Especially with all the talk about accountability, restorative justice.
It really is. And like Albert changing, it doesn't excuse him.
No.
But it asks these questions about growth, reconciliation.
And it shows how personal change can be a part of societal change.
Yeah, like when individuals confront their biases, it can have this ripple effect.
It's powerful. And The Color Purple celebrates that. The power of individual voices to create change.
Within themselves and in the world.
Celie's journey, from victim to survivor, it's proof of that. And the fact that people still connect to her story decades later, that says something.
It shows how relevant it still is, the power it has to inspire, even in the face of, adversity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it reminds us that the fight for justice, equality, it never ends. It's a constant process.
You always have to be vigilant. Challenge the status quo.
Absolutely.
The Color Purple, it doesn't have all the answers, But it helps us understand the Black experience and how individual stories can lead to a collective movement for liberation.
And that's why it's so important to keep reading these books, discussing them, engaging with them.
They make us think critically, see things from different perspectives.
And recognize how our struggles are all connected.
For a better, more just world.
Speaking of engaging, I think it makes sense to, shift gears a bit. Talk about the book's impact, on literature and culture.
Let's do it. We'll explore that in the final part of our deep dive. The Color Purple, it wasn't all smooth sailing when it came out,
Oh, no, definitely not. It caused quite a stir. Some people even wanted to ban it. Can you believe that? It's kind of wild when you think about it, right? Yeah. A story about Black women finding their voices.
Yeah.
And it gets met with that kind of resistance.
It really shows you how powerful those voices are, though.
Yeah.
It challenged the way things were, made people face some hard truths about race, gender, power, all that.
Yeah, it definitely pushed buttons.
Right.
But it became a landmark work. Pulitzer Prize winner, right?
Oh, yeah.
And a movie. And then a Broadway show.
Yeah.
It really connected with people.
It did. People from all walks of life. Because at its heart, it's about those universal things. Connection, love, the desire to control your own life. Celie's journey, it goes beyond culture, beyond background. It's something we can all relate to on some level. That fight for freedom, for self-expression, it's human,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one thing that struck me, throughout the book, was the color purple itself.
The symbolism there, oh, it's so rich.
Right. It represents so much.
Yeah.
Creativity, spirituality, even finding beauty in the everyday.
Exactly. It's a reminder to look deeper, to appreciate those little moments of joy, especially when things are tough. Remember Celie's quilt making?
Oh, yeah.
Starts as something practical, but it becomes art. She's literally stitching her life together, her experiences, her emotions, all in those quilts.
It's powerful. She's taking back control, creating something beautiful out of all that pain. And it makes you think, how many other stories are out there like Celie's, especially from Black women, stories that we haven't heard yet, or that haven't gotten the attention they deserve.
It's true. There are so many voices waiting to be heard. And The Color Purple, it opened the door. But we have to keep it open, right? Seek out those diverse stories. Support Black authors. Make space for them.
So we want to leave you with this. Our listeners, think about it. What can you do to support Black authors? Maybe pick up a book by someone you've never read before, or join a book club that focuses on Black literature. Even just talking about the books you love, that makes a difference.
It all adds up. Every little bit helps to create a more inclusive literary world where everyone's story has a chance to be told.
And remember, it's not just about doing the right thing. It's about enriching ourselves, expanding our understanding of the world through these powerful stories. So thank you for joining us on this deep dive into The Color Purple. We'll be back next time with another book that's shaping our world. Until then, happy reading, everyone.